हाय।
हाय।
मैं निकल गई थी क्या?
नहीं, पता नहीं है, मेरी मतलब टैब चेंज हुआ था मेरा।
अच्छा अच्छा, ओके।
Hello guys, we will be starting very soon. Okay, so stay connected. You can network yourself in the chat section if you wish. Okay, so we will be starting very soon as Mr. Vedang Patel joins. Okay, now Vedang Patel is here. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Okay, we will be starting in a 5 minute. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Hello everyone. This is Tejas Patel, Chapter Director of Startup Brand Nirma University, and your moderator for this event. Startup Brand is the world's largest community of startup founders, innovators, and creators. It's a mastermind to get diverse individuals together to learn, teach, help, build, and belong. So, welcome everyone for this fireside chat with Vedang Patel on marketing the millennial way. Today we have with us Mr. Vedang Patel, co-founder and director of the Soul Store. Welcome, sir.
Thanks for having me. I'm very glad to be here, and this will be very exciting to share, my story with you guys to try and impart whatever knowledge I can.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So at Soul Store, Mr. Vedang Patel plays a pertinent role in heading key departments such as design, digital marketing, finance, analytics, and inventory management. Okay, so without wasting more time, let's begin the session. Okay, so sir, to begin with, a question that we always wonder about: what was the turning point at the boutique financial service firm that made you, Aditya, and Rohin think of the Soul Store? How did you guys come in contact in the firm?
I've actually answered this question so many times. For me, the number one reason this happened was because I didn't like what I did. It was on this
Okay.
Sunday evening, which we were, which I was just sitting at home, and I realized I didn't want to start my week. And and sometimes you feel that with school or college, and especially if you're in the wrong period or the wrong session. And the point with your career is that you cannot not want to start your week for the next 40 years. And I didn't
Yes.
want to, I have this thing that you cannot hate your Mondays because there's just too many Mondays in life to go on hating them. And
Yeah.
that's the reason I wanted to find something that I personally enjoyed. And that's how Rohan, Aditya, and I got together. And we realized that what is it that we enjoy a lot. And we saw that we were, those typical nerds and geeks who liked everything about superheroes and comic books. And we knew their stories and their backstories. And
Yeah.
that's something that we wanted to spend our time doing. And that's why we started the Soul Storm. There's also a very
Oh.
there's also a very financial reason for it. Uh, at
Oh.
that time, the opportunity was there. Nobody in India was tapping into this. In the US, merchandising industry is like $150 billion industry.
Oh.
While in India, it wasn't there. If you wanted to buy, say, a Star Wars T-shirt, you had to probably buy imported version, which was like 1,500 to
Yes.
2,000. Your only alternative was a fake on Fashion Street for 200-300 rupees. Now, when it's 200-300 rupees versus 2,000-3,000, I don't think those are options, for the general
Yeah.
Indian consumer. In fact, I feel like those fakes exist because there's no alternative, and that's the reason
Yeah.
we saw this gap in the market, and that's why we started the Soul Storm.
Okay. Great, sir. So you three were friends from the college or in the job?
We all met at our workplace.
Okay. Nice. Okay. So we have heard that you got a promotion at your boutique. Then why risk it with entrepreneurship?
Well, exactly why the reason, and yes, I did get a promotion. It's the thing with promotions is, right, you just continue to doing what you're doing at just a higher pay grade, and that's the reason I didn't want to do an MBA and all that. I just thought this is the best path to go.
Okay. Nice. Then what made you realize that your idea would be a hit in the market?
Well, one was the conviction of the reason I gave with the opportunity that is not yet done in India. There were some other trends also. For example, our business is based so much on content consumption, right?
Yes.
Like people getting access, or the middle class getting access to watching a Marvel movie or Netflix and Amazon Prime. This increase in consumption, the increase in social media, which increases the your exposure to these characters and what we're trying to do, all of that was the rising trend. And because of that rising trend, we thought this is a great opportunity to actually start what we're doing. To some extent, every entrepreneur has a conviction which is quite baseless, I would say. You have to fool yourself a little beyond reality, and that's what makes you take risks and steps which other people usually won't. It's healthy to some extent, I would say.
Yeah. Risk is the thing that entrepreneurs should take. Okay, so how did you sell your first ever product at Soul Store, and what was that?
A first ever product. So that's very tough to say, right? Because we're a
Hi.
very online platform. But I'll tell you one thing: when you start any business, and I mean when you start any business, whether you start a bhel puri stand or whatever it be, the first 1-2 weeks will actually go pretty well. You'll go as per what you expect because your friends, your friends of friends, your family, all of them will actually come and buy from you. They'll come visit. If you have a store, they'll come visit your store, whatever it is. That's when things are good. It's actually from the third week onwards where you realize that these people are done with their purchases, which I call like petty purchases, or like for shagun. And then it's after that where things get really hard. You realize you're just a small little business that nobody's heard of, and that's when you have to do things very differently.
Okay, great. Okay, so how did your knowledge from the financial background help you effectively to manage the Soul Store?
I think it's one of the cornerstones of good business practices. Not just the basics like unit economics, which is I think a fundamental that some entrepreneurs fail to get from the start. Our unit economics was very strong. Like on a daily basis, we used to see what our sales are, what the cost of goods are, the rent. We would divide it by 30, so you get the daily rent, your daily salaries. The daily unit economics have to make sense. More importantly, I think this is the easier part. The tougher part is how you start managing your inventory, your cash cycles, your days of payables. I'm not. A lot of this sounds maybe gibberish. It's very basic if you just understand and read a gap, a general accounting principles. But if you manage these cash cycles perfectly, right, essentially what you start doing is you reduce your working capital, which is the requirement that you need to grow as well. So as you keep reducing this, you can grow at a faster pace, and we could grow like I think over 1,000 times just being bootstrapped, because
Yeah.
our cash cycles were making sense.
Yeah. Actually, you are a mechanical engineer, right?
Yes.
So how did you got interest in finance and all that stuff?
So I have exactly the same theory that I always have in life. That I just want to make sure that I always enjoy doing what I do. Now, I don't think anyone knows what they want to do at most points in their life. And I'm not just
Yeah.
talking about students, I'm talking about people who are in their 30s and 40s. They're just doing what's handed to them. My parents said, do science, fine, I did science. Then I decided what do I want to do next. And for me, I love cars.
Okay.
When I mean I love them, I used to like them for all their physics and mechanical prowess or whatever it is, more than the shininess. I'm talking pre-mechanical engineering. And I thought I wanted to get more into it, and which is why I did my mechanical engineering.
Okay. Nice. Okay. So, according to you, what is more important, marketing or design?
Both. it's, it's literally like saying which is more important to your body, your lung or your heart. Um, you know, you need both. I'll tell you what the thing is, right? If you have great designs, then it's just easier to market them. If you don't have good designs, then you have to do a much harder job marketing them. And in a way, you're not even like portraying a real picture. Good product sells itself, but you need to tell people about it.
Yeah, we definitely need to market ourselves. Okay, so the soul story is very popular among the millennials, the youth. So how do you keep them engaged? Means how do you increase your sale day by day?
It's not very easy, because people do like to change with the trends. You do like this is good right now, that's not cool right now. Like I give you the if anyone watches Game of Thrones, I think that's one of the best examples on
Yeah,
how it was engaging and how it wasn't.
yeah,
So
and
you have to
season.
be, yeah, you have to be very much on top of these things. And till the say the first 4 5 years, they're now about 7 years. Till the first 4 5 years, it was my homework to literally be up to date with the latest happenings of say what's happening in the superhero world or what's happening in the TV show world. And I used to literally like just binge watch things, and that used to be part of my work.
Yeah,
It was a fun job to create for yourself. Now I don't do that as much. I let other people who are better than me handle that stuff.
yeah. So that's come to my next question. That what is the work culture at your soul store? Like there are youngsters who are very crazy about Marvel, or they are just a normal person.
I think a youngster who's crazy after Marvel is still a normal person. Uh, I would like to think at least.
Okay.
Yes, we do have a very, I think what you're trying to get at is yes, we do have a very young team. We are now a team of over, I think, 200 to 300 people, somewhere in between that range. Ranging from designing to HR. And a lot of them are, yes, under 30 for sure. That would definitely be where the majority is. The culture is very fun. There's a lot to do. It's extremely busy. On the other side, there comes a lot of responsibility because we give a lot of freedom. So that's the way I like to see it is that everyone at the soul store is in himself a business owner and his own entrepreneur. So if you are heading, let's say, the supply chain team, right, the
Yeah.
procurement team, you are in charge of the business that you're doing. You are in charge of the procurement team, the costing for it, the people in it, the people's morale in it. If you're a person who works under that person also, let's say you manage the procurement of say this t-shirt, you're in charge of how well it does, the quality, whether it's in stock, it's not in stock, when's it going to come next, all of those things. We like to give full freedom but then full responsibility to the team.
Yeah, totally fair. What are the plans for the physical stores? Do they work better than online selling?
So the physical stores are doing really well. We started it as an experiment, but
Okay.
we started seeing amazing conversions, which we did not expect. We started seeing our physical stores were, yes, very profitable, and at least the plan before COVID was to continue expanding these.
Yeah.
First in Bombay and then maybe around pan India. The the pandemic has definitely paused that plan for now, but we think that we will start again going to more physical stores from early 21. Uh,
Okay.
it will never overtake your online revenue or volume, because online you can just start taking anyone from West India to East India sitting at the home.
Yes.
Physical stores have a much smaller catchment area, but we do plan to use these as a marketing tool, a branding tool, which are also profitable. They add tangibility and trust to a brand which is otherwise online.
Okay. Great. I think you have 3 stores in Mumbai, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Can you please name them? I don't remember the exact location.
So we have one in Bandra, we have one in Thane, Viviana Mall, and we have one in Kolaba.
Okay, that's great. Okay,
Yeah.
so revenue for the Soul Store has been a massive growth. How did the pandemic affect your business? Yeah, the same question.
Yeah. So yes, I think the pandemic has affected every business to some extent or the other. In fact, I think when the lockdown first got announced end of March, that's it. That's when it got affected the most, because there's just so much uncertainty. I think uncertainty affects a business much more than
Yeah.
anything, because you cannot plan. You don't know what to do next. You don't know, can you afford, till when is the lockdown going to happen? What are the rules? What are the guidelines? What can you do? What can you not do? So
Hmm.
that was a tough period for us.
Yeah.
However, being online has some benefits which luckily we could reap,
Yeah.
and we are now back to the pre-COVID levels. I hope that we continue going on this trajectory, and hopefully, like our month-on-month starts becoming the highest months, as it is.
Yeah.
Because I think there are two cultural shifts which have happened in the country. One is that a lot of people who did not buy online have now started buying online. Like my parents would never buy online. Now they use my Amazon account and I get a message almost every second day.
Oh.
It's and I don't think that behavior will. I don't think that will change. They will not go back to buying at the stores. At least they will not go back to buying everything at the stores once it opens up. That's one thing. The second thing is, as of now, there's just so much demand for casual wear versus formal wear. There's so much more demand for the categories that we sell.
Yeah.
So both these factors have actually exponentially helped us.
Yeah. So you have mentioned in one of your interviews that you would love to manipulate time and travel through the time, just like Doctor Strange. So what is your dream? Means what's your dream place you want to be at what time?
Oh, I think someone asked me about which superhero would I be and why. Maybe that's the only reason I would say that. Uh, I'm definitely a very big history buff. Whenever I even go like to when I travel, I like to just think of what these places would be 300 years back, or 1,000 years back, or even 10,000 years back.
Yeah.
So I would just like to be in prehistoric times, see different animals that were there, see that evolution. That's something that really interests me. That's what I love reading.
Okay, nice. Okay, can you share about how the team is important? How much the team affects the running business?
I think it's this perfect combination of the team and the culture that makes a good business. I'll start with your co-founders. Right? There has to be two things there. There has to be perfect mutual respect for each other. You all both have to be aligned to the fact that everyone wants the same goal, you know, and at the same time there has to be enough respect that you can question each other and argue with each other without getting personal. So I think that's one of the strengths that we have. My co-founders, let's say if I say make a decision that we'll open a store in Kolaba, right? And I'll have a co-founder who says no, I will not take it personally, and he will not either. And the main reason is because of the respect. Because I know he's saying it for the same goal I have, that we want the betterment of the Soul Store. But it's good that we both will hear each other's reasons out, and we will then come to a consensus on which direction to go in. That's the number one, I think, dynamic that you need to have when you work in a team. On a broader scale, your team is the most important thing, because you don't do everything yourself. Nobody does, right? Not even Mukesh Ambani, not Mark Zuckerberg. It's his team who codes, or it's someone else who does the marketing.
Yeah.
So how talented that team is one thing. That's the easier part. I think how you motivate them, and and how they take that freedom to align towards your goal. That's when you have a successful pitch in business.
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree. So, with the amazing success of the Soul Store, with financial being good, profit from the first sale, last investment, top designers working for you, what have been the main challenges you have faced?
I think every day is a challenge. I would not say that literally every day would be a challenge. Like from day one, where you're just wondering on what the rules are on starting a business. What licenses do I need? How do I start a website? It's a little easier today because the ecosystem is better built, but there are still so many challenges. Like yesterday, our app was crashing for some reason, and that's just wondering why is that happening. And then that's one challenge. And you'll have a challenge with a team member, you'll have a challenge with someone not being happy, you'll have a challenge. I think every day, I would not even dare to say that one challenge is bigger than the other.
Oh,
On that day, or whatever the problem is, that's the biggest problem.
okay, great. Okay, so are you planning or expanding globally or something like you have plan in your minds in future plans?
Oh yeah, our future plans are always, I mean, world domination.
Wow.
That's always has to be part of your plan. Yes, we do. It's See, I think there are two aspects to how you plan. One is you have a legit plan to a scale which you can see, and that you go into detail. And there are other plans which you have, which you've not really jotted down out how you're going to go about it, but you know it's there, and you know that one day I'll have to build for it and plan for it. Going international is the second part. We don't really have the details on how we're going to go about it, but we do know that whatever we're doing has international appeal and has a worldwide need. So we will eventually, yes, go uh, international.
Wow, great. Okay, so now in the market there are a lot of fake merchandise coming up. So how is that challenge for you, or is that not a challenge for you?
So I think one way of looking at it is that we are the solution to fake merchandise, right? At the end of the day, yes, there's a lot of fake merchandise coming up. Sometimes people just copy exactly what we're doing, and people sometimes put our logo also. But when they start doing that, from the way I look at it, is that it's validation. To some extent, there isn't much you can do. It's very tough to actually implement laws in India and actually take action, which is why people do it, since nothing really can happen. Uh, but at the same time, I think if the marketing is correct, if people know where the authentic source is, if your price gap is not that far away from the fake, people will obviously come to you. You're authentic, you're better quality, you're better service, you're better people. People will just come. It's no problem.
Yes. Okay. According to your experience, what people want to buy, the cheap things or the means quality things?
It's a great question, actually. I'll tell you, India, right? India is not price conscious. That's the misconception. India is value conscious.
Okay.
That's the main difference. All right. So if you can convince someone that what you're paying is value for money, they will come and they will purchase. So it's not about trying to sell, let's say, this product for 200 or for 1,000. It's for making sure that the product is worth what you sell it for. We've seen that raising prices doesn't affect our conversions as much as not having good designs and good product. So we focus on the second part more than the first part.
Okay. Great. So next question is, could you give some advice to the young entrepreneurs of the India? Something like you need to
Yeah.
share.
So I'll be very honest here, right? I don't think there's any right answer and wrong answer, but when you're going to start your business, if you, one, please do not be stuck in your own bubble, okay? Because everyone thinks that what they are doing is the best thing. Get enough opinions, get enough outside opinions from smart people. Don't go to your best friend who you probably have a dinner or drinks with. I don't think they're the best judge. Get your opinion from smart people on what do you think about business. See, is there a customer base for it? See, is there a customer base willing to pay the price that you will have to charge to run that business? Okay, these are the fundamentals. Don't be stuck that, yeah, people will pay this. That's what you think. You may be wrong, right? That's the first thing about it. The second thing about this is you're going to have a lot of people who say you're stupid. Trust me,
Yes.
right? Including your parents. And that's okay because if they could do it, they would.
Yeah.
All right. That's where you are different, right? You're going to fail a lot. I think that's and the last thing advice I'd give is you're going to fail so much, you're going to fail every day, you know, and it will be hard. So just know that being an entrepreneur is actually not really about a skill. It's not about a talent. It's not about knowing coding or knowing marketing. It's a mindset. If you have the right mindset to grow, all right, to be relentless, I think you will achieve it. But
Okay.
don't be in your bubble, as I said. Uh, don't listen to what people say and have the right mindset.
Okay. So, how important is the skill to convince some people? Is how important to in entrepreneurship journey? How we can convince other?
I mean, it depends on your business, right? Every skill can be very different, but that completely depends on your business. Like if you are in, let's say, if you're selling an ERP to big companies, then that skill comes a lot into play because you have to go from one company head to another, selling a very expensive product. So that convincing makes a lot more sense. If you are a B2C business like us instead of B2B, then it's more about the online marketing aspects and things of that nature that come into play.
Okay. Okay. So, what are the opportunities for the students like us who wants to work with you and the Soul Store? Any opportunities?
Well, I would say I do think we have some internships. Not at this point. Usually we do during the summer. Uh, Post engineering, there are definitely a lot of opportunities for engineers. I think, um, in general, students always make like when they come out just from college. I think they always have the freshest ideas. They always make the most innovative claims. Even if 9 out of 10 may seem very not good to me. I think at the end of it, that one idea covers up all of it, and like it's just out of the box thinking. So we're always looking to get like fresh talent.
Okay, great. In the chat section, the participants are telling that they're wearing the Soul Store T-shirt right now. So you can see how success
Awesome.
it is. Yeah. So, would you like to share your experience, the best experience you have at the Soul Store at the end of the session, like the final one, the goosebumps?
I think that's a tough one to actually point. What would be for the soul stop part? What would be my best experience? I think it was when we completed 5 years. I have two experiences, if I have to be very honest. Like one is when we completed 5 years, and we just had become about 100 people. That was a feeling which was great, right? Because when we started out, I remember the amount of yeah, you will get a lot of negativity. As I remember all that negativity that we've gotten on how it's a bad idea, you're stupid, never going to work, crowded market, all of that crap. So that was, it was good. Uh, but for me, very personally, the point I thought I didn't come from a lot of money. So the point I thought I did really well is when I bought my first car. And when I did that, I was like, fine, let's look up from here. So it's a great feeling, when your parents think are very proud of you and things of that nature. That's definitely a good feeling.
So, okay, so now we will have our question and answers from the participant sides. So, Akshat is asking, what will be the way for collecting funds after the pandemic?
What do you mean by collecting funds after the pandemic?
Akshat, can you please elaborate? Okay, till then we have a second question. How difficult was it to set up the this huge supply chain when you started not being Amazon?
Okay, so when we started back in 2013, it was hard because only the big Amazons and all really had it figured out. So back then, literally even a call cash on delivery, we had to only do it in Mumbai because there was literally a personal connection with that courier company in Mumbai that
Yeah.
he would go. He also didn't have a system in place, so he would go door to door. His man would collect it, and he would literally give us cash. It really doesn't work like that anymore. And even like how you wrote addresses, there was no proper ERP that you could just buy off the shelf. First, though, since we're a small company, we used to write it by hand and on Excel. Literally the couriers, the stickers on the courier for the addresses. Then eventually, those softwares came in. Now it's much easier. The ecosystem is so easy. Like a payment gateway, it used to take 25 to 30 days, and over 100 pages in documents now takes like it's an email almost. Like you'll be on the next day. So all of these things are much easier today. I don't think that edge that Amazon and Flipkart have is that big of an edge from an operation point of view because there's just so many services that do most of these things for you now.
Okay, great, sir. So Akshat has elaborated his question like the best business strategy. I will repeat the question. What would be the way for collecting funds after the pandemic? Like the best business strategy.
When you say funds, do you mean raising money or do you mean from customers?
I think it's talking about customers. Yeah, he's replied in the chat.
So one very good aspect about the pandemic is a lot of people who usually do cash on delivery, they've stopped, right? Because people don't want that physical transfer. Even when you order on Swiggy or whatever you order on, you're more likely to now start online payments. So that's helped a lot, like through the pandemic, and I think this will now stick post-pandemic as well. And I think that's the best way to actually
Okay.
grow your payment method.
So according to your viewpoint, how social media plays a role in any business?
Social media depends on if you're a B2C business, social media is almost everything, right? Because you're here to create a brand, you're not just here to sell a product. So the social media aspect of things is where your story of the brand gets told, what you stand for, what you're launching next, why you're launching it, who you are, and why are you here doing this business. The the language you speak, everything is on social media. So I think it's one of the cornerstones of a business like ours. It is the most important.
Okay, so Meet is asking that which is your most successful marketing campaign?
Uh, to define success. So I'll tell you which one, right? For me, the most successful marketing campaign was which we did like 3 years ago. It was a very demonstrative one where instead of it being a high quality photo shoot or anything of that sort, it was actually me who was in the video and someone was just shooting from his phone and it was a glow in the dark t-shirt. And literally it was like a very honest and it seemed very homemade video where I was like, hey, want to see something cool? Here's a glow in the dark video t-shirt. So I'll do this, the t-shirt goes.
Nice.
Now it doesn't glow. Something like that. And that did really well. That was one of our best performing videos till date.
Okay, nice. So Mohit is asking, how do we start? I mean, we have an idea. I think there is a big market, but we do not know how to move forward. So
Well, I think if you're in your last year, you should just complete your education as firstly. I strongly recommend it. And in the meanwhile, you can do more research on this business. Some of those things which I spoke about, know who your customers are they willing to pay what you're going to charge? Ask people about your idea, throw it off very smart people who already run businesses. The best thing to do is try and picture this 10 months from when you start your business, 10, 12 months, whatever your line is. Picture why your business won't work. That's something that nobody does. Everyone pictures why the business will work. Let's say even if you even if you play Dream 11, you're going to picture why you'll win, picture why you won't. Then
Okay,
you'll know what the risks in your businesses are, and you'll actually try and mitigate that. You'll actually work towards that, or you build a solution to it.
great. Okay. So Susan is asking, hello, how does it works with licensing? As most are huge film franchises, are they approachable?
No, not very. No, they're not. You have to do a lot of begging and pleading, which we had to initially do. Now it's much easier for us. Now I think if someone wants to sell a merchandising license, it comes first to us. So that's
Oh,
now it's like a
nice.
different kind of dynamic. But yeah, back in the day, we used to like go for meetings after meetings and presentations after presentations, and eventually we like cracked one after years. So it is hard.
Okay, great. Alap is asking, how much funds in Soul Store aiming to raise? There is any?
We don't have plans to. Luckily, uh, as I said, the lockdown changed this mindset. Business has been very good for us. We're making good internal cash flow, so no plans to raise as of now. If
Okay.
Alab investing, because then it's a different conversation.
Oh, Alap, you want to invest?
All right, that's just a joke, guys. I have like one time for one last question.
Okay, sir. Last question from Nishal. How difficult is to establish our own brand with so many competition? How Soul Store stand different in one day Nike or any other brand or any other brand
All right.
started making accessories of marvels?
All right. So basically, branding and difference, right? Starting a brand is one of the most difficult things. The main reason it's difficult is because you have to be consistent. You can't be like, today I'm a brand that is like, if we start selling, for example, shoe polish, because it's going to be like what? Because what you stand for is very important. That consistency needs to come in, who you are, why you do what you do. That's the tough part about a brand. What's different about us? Well, it's a great question. We have a very single like feeling that we put out in everything we do. We are here to have fun. So
Wow.
we are not here to aspire people to like achieve greatness because you put in the Nike thing, which Nike does really well. We're not here to
Yes.
say that this T-shirt is really cheap, like buy it. There's a sale. We don't like doing that either. We do it sometimes at the end of the season, but that's not up. We have a very simple thing. We're here to have fun. So when you see our products, you'll either see a very dark Batman theme, which is what Batman people would do. You would see like a very fun theme with like a Mickey Mouse or Donald Duck or whatever it is. We'll see it with CSK, we'll see it with MI. We'll be a more CSK fan, MI fan. We're just here to have fun. We are fans. We celebrate fandom. And that's the brand that we have. And I think that's why we are very different from Nike. We don't have the same aspirations, goals, or we don't even have the same selling point.
Cool. So, sir, one last question. One last question. How did your family support you when you decided to leave a stable job and get into entrepreneurship?
My family wasn't very happy. I think the main reason my family wasn't happy is because I got admission to some of the IIMs. And
Okay.
like I understand, right? For most Indian parents, like a good job, you got promotion, you got into an MBA. They want what's best for you. Unfortunately, I didn't think that's what's best for me. So there was a lot of friction at that point at home. But I think once I started and there was no going back, my family had to support me because they obviously want the best for me, and they did. They did the best they could. Money had to stop coming from home. Like I was not bringing money home anymore, so I had to be a little more frugal. Everyone at home had to be a little more frugal, but we did, and we eventually, like for 2 years there was no salary, so that's a little tough, but they did, and I really thank them for that.
Yeah. Okay. So I will not take much of your time. Thank you so much for joining with us. Okay. So now, sir, you can leave if you want, and we will having one networking session with the participants. Okay, sir. So I don't think you will be joining as you are very late.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for having me, guys. I really hope you'll enjoyed this. Thank you, Tej. That you did a great job. And you guys take care. I hope to stay in touch with you guys. You guys can just email me or add me on social media or something like that. Thank you.
Sure, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay, so guys, we will be having a short networking session. I will be sending the link in the chat. So it will be a very nice, fun activity. So two of you will be chosen randomly and you will be networking on the screen. Okay, so just stay tuned. I will be sending the link in a minute. Okay, so I have sent the link in the chat. Guys, please click on this link and we will shift to some another server. It will be a very great fun. Trust me. So you can leave from here and we will see at the icebreaker session. Thank you so much for joining. We'll be having this session more and more. Hope you like this session. Thank you guys.